issues of political killings and safety in eThekwini Municipality continue to be a concern. The mayor there, Mxolisi Kaunda, has met with Police Minister Bheki Cele to discuss this scourge, and this is following the killing of Ward 103 Councillor Mxolisi outside his home in January. And the mayor joins us now for this conversation. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your time. These are worrying signs. I think you're not the first public official to warn about this issue of the targeting of the councillors, eThekwini councillors. I think the Speaker of the council also added his voice some time ago. What exactly seems to be the problem?
Thank you very much, Toli, for having us in your program. We have done a situational analysis in our municipality, and we are concerned about the killing of politicians, killing of izinduna, and the members of the public. So our analysis have raised that yes, there are political killings that are happening in the area, and police have invested more concerted efforts, especially the special task team from National, to investigate these matters. In the period of 2 weeks, we have met with the Minister and the Deputy Minister of the Police, and they gave us a feedback, a progress report on how these cases are unfolding. It looks like there are positive indicators where people are being arrested, and we are hopeful that in most cases they will be having breakthroughs. But also having taken stock of the challenges that are facing our areas, which are leading on crime stats like Inanda and Umlazi, one issue which we have identified when we analyze the situation is that most of these areas are highly populated, and most of our citizens, residents in those areas, they are living under poverty lines. So therefore, crime locates itself in areas where there are high levels of poverty, and there are many people residing in those areas. Hence, we are intervening in terms of human settlement to unlock the development of Amawodi. That program of Amawodi human settlement is on the line to ensure that we relocate other community members from the area so that we allow a space to further development the area. But the Minister of the Police also committed in our deliberations that looking at the population there, you cannot expect that the area can be properly serviced through the police station, which is Mchebeni, which is only one police station in Inanda. So therefore, he's looking at the possibility of targeting Amawodi and also establishing a police station there. So that work will be unfolding, and the minister and his team will be seized with that opportunity. For now, the communities are served with the satellite police stations. So there are more interventions required. We'll also be increasing our metropolis numbers because we have identified some weaknesses in terms of our footprint, that the numbers need to be increased so that we become more responsive to the aspirations of our communities and also guarantee their safety. We've started a program here at the CPD. I'm sure you heard that people are starting to complain because we are enforcing business licensing, we are cleaning our CPD, we are also enforcing building regulations so that those who reside around the CPD, they are really in compliance with our legislations and the bylaws. Right. So with that, and we are also targeting the crime fighting mechanisms within the CPD to ensure that people who come here and do business and our communities, they feel more safe when they are here in the CPD. So that work is unfolding as we speak.
Mr. Mayor, I take your point that overcrowding in certain areas sometimes breeds crime, but it still does not explain how overcrowding in areas, certain areas, Mr. Mayor, how that translates to the targeting of councillors, municipal councillors, because that then talks to the problem of political killings which has plagued KZN for some time, even with a commission of inquiry that looked specifically into this issue. So where is the link between overcrowding and the targeting of political individuals?
I'm sure you did not capture me, Xoli. I was explaining that in general crime, because we are leading and we are occupying the top ranks of crime in South Africa. When it comes to murders, when it comes to sexual offences, eThekwini is leading, especially Mlazi and Inanda. So I was responding to that. But when it comes to the targeting of politicians, by virtue of being politician, definitely there may be some areas of contestation of positions. There may be some areas where councillors, they become vulnerable because people perceive them as people who control tenders, whilst we've got nothing to do with tenders as councillors, and they assume that if you come closer to the council, you have access to such opportunities. So those are the things which sometimes make our councillors become more vulnerable. So therefore, it's important that you do not only expect the police to handle this situation. Political parties on their own should be working on their intra-political issues and matters that are confronting them, so that we reduce the numbers of these incidents within the municipality. So police must do their part, but political parties must work on how they can better tackle issues within their political parties, which won't make our politicians vulnerable for all these killings that you've been observing.
The scourge of crime, Mr. Mayor, ahead of an investment conference that you yourself announced last week that it was going to precede the National Investment Conference that is also going to be held this month. So when crime becomes a problem, that tends to be the focus sometimes. And so that will obviously make it difficult for you to attract potential investors. How do you plan to do that? How do you sell your city with these constraints that we are talking about, such as crime?
Yes, what becomes critical, Xoli, is that fighting crime, indeed, it is a collective responsibility. We can't expect police alone. We need to ensure that we revive our street committees and village committees in each and every corner of our city. That is the work which is unfolding as we speak. We are reviving those structures. We have also constituted our own community safety forum of eThekwini, in which I am the chair of that forum. There is a steering committee which is looking at how can we best utilize technology in the fight against crime. There are necessary investments that we are putting in that regard as a city, together with the Minister of Police, to ensure that areas where we always experience many incidents, we start deploying CCTV cameras, which will enable our police to detect crime before it happens. We are also in collaboration with SANRAL, ensuring that their cameras are also going to add more value in ensuring that whoever who comes in and go out of our city through SANRAL toll gates, we are able to make use of those cameras to detect as early as possible the criminals when they come in or when they are exiting the city. So those strides put together are going to be able to assist us. Earlier on today, I met with Toyota South Africa, the CEO and the Vice President and their executive, to deal with issues of investment in our city as well as infrastructure. The meeting went very well, but part of the things which they raised as a concern is that they want also to partner with us as eThekwini to be able to fight crime effectively. So we are also encouraging our businesses, the private sector, to come on board and say that let us deploy resources wherever they are much needed so that we can be able to turn the tide around.
Mr. Mayor, let's conclude the conversation with the investment conference that is upcoming. We've already touched on it, but we're looking at it with hindsight. What happened in July last year and the images of eThekwini looking like a war zone, effectively. And I like your comments more recently about the use of technology to fight crime. Looking back at what occurred last year, your own personal use of technology, social media space? Is that something that you are willing to reflect on, given that your comments got you into hot water last year?
No, Oli, there was no hot water with my social media comments, and I think that people have perceived them negatively, and it depends on which angle do you read them. But I was very straightforward on my social networks. I've been calling for calm. I've been calling for unity in our diversity as a nation. I've been calling for ensuring that we deal with the elements of criminality. But part of what we are preparing and gearing ourselves to towards these investment summits is that we've got a good conducive environment as a city for investments. Firstly, in terms of our infrastructure, we are able to supply our big manufacturing companies and the plants around the city. Hence, there are many companies which also intend coming this side, because we are indeed providing that conducive environment. But we are also fixing the issues of safety, as I've already alluded to, and we'll be working with the private sector, because it's not going to be feasible for the city to put cameras in each and every street of our city. Hence, we are engaging with private sector to say, in this street, can you come on board and also assist us so that we can link your cameras with the control rooms of our police, SAPS and Metropolis. So those are the kind of interventions which are coming in. And after July unrest, there is investor confidence in our city, because people have seen that there are many investments that are being unlocked. The brickworks along the Avoca area there, they're investing more than 6 billion rand. When you talk about other investments in our logistic parks, people are showing more interest in investing in this city. And already we have attained more than 23 billion rand investment. So which shows that our target within this 5-year period from 2020 to 2026 will be able to achieve more than 217 billion rand investment. So therefore, the packages we are putting in place and the conducive environment for investors to come to our city. Of course, we are responding to their challenges which they've raised with us, the congestion in our port, which also does not enable businesses around who are operating in the port to make use of that port effectively. So therefore, our engagements with Transnet are still going on, and we also welcome and appreciate that the Transnet investment to upgrade our port in the city so that it becomes more effective and efficient in responding to the needs of our businesses.
Mr. Mayor, I thank you very much for your time. I suppose my last point there, my last question, essentially had to do with responsible leadership. And basically the question was, were you willing to reflect on your own personal use of social media? I suppose your response is going to hold, therefore. Am I correct that it's not entirely correct that you were partly responsible for sending out wrong messages in July?
Only there were investigating teams which were put by the Minister of the Police to investigate the instigators of violence. So my name is not there. So I don't know where to base that. Secondly, I've appeared before the Human Rights Commission. I think my presentation that I've made in the Human Rights Commission, they will be at liberty to assess whether I did contribute or I did not contribute. But I can guarantee you that you can even go through my post yourself at your own leisure time and ensure that, and just single one post which says that I've incited violence in this city. So I think we should not be taking that as if it's something which has been proven. There were people who were making those allegations within the city. Councillors who said I've been posting things which incited violence. They couldn't even go to the ethics committee of the municipality to present their evidence and how are they basing such things in my media post. So I'm sure what people of South Africa knows about me is that I am a leader of the city who want to see this city moving forward, attracting more investment, attracting more tourists that some we have lost. So we are fixing the basic things, the cleanliness, we are fixing the issues of crime and crime, we are also fixing the issues of infrastructure, which must be responsive to the needs of those who are investing and the community that reside in our city.
eThekwini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda, thank you very much for your time, sir.